Okay Dan, so before we crack on with element B, it's good to see you now fully kitted out for the occasion. If I can just get you to read the number plate of your chosen machine over there, please.
WJ18PVD.
Fantastic. Okay, let's crack on with element B. Okay, so here is your bike of choice. Let's give you a quick introduction to the machine, okay? Starting with the controls. So we'll start on the left here. Mirrors, okay, you've got two mirrors obviously. Feel free to move those around as you see fit, okay, so you've got a good view behind you. This is now your clutch, okay, so essentially the way it affects the bike is identical to the car, okay, but you're now using your hand and not your foot, okay. So moving along, we've got main beam and dip beam. Happy with that? Yep. Same as your car. Indicators, now this is where it does differ from a car. Obviously you would indicate left or right as you see fit, okay. Now this will not self-cancel like a car does, okay, so every time you've finished your manoeuvre you need to press that button in, okay, to stop the indicator. You've got a horn down the bottom there, hopefully you won't need that today. Moving across, you've got your ignition key. Now all this key does is one click, turns the machine on. You can see the dashboard is now lit up. Okay, so we've got various lights on the dashboard there, indicator warning lights, engine management light, main beam light, and the nice big green neutral light there, okay. You've got your rev counter, again identical to your car, around the edge, and your speedos in the middle there with a very handy gear indicator, tell you which gear you're in, okay. You've got 5 gears on this machine, okay. Moving across, obviously you have the mirror. This is now your front brake, just like a push bike, okay. You've got your front brake there. We've got an engine kill switch, okay. I sincerely hope we don't need to use that today as well, obviously it's for emergency use. We've got your throttle. The more you twist that, the faster it goes, but as you can see it will release to the off position for safety, okay. Moving down, you might find on some bikes a headlight switch here, not on this machine, okay. This is fully automatic, all right. You've got your electric start down the bottom there as well, all right. On the floor is your rear brake, okay. So as a car driver you're going to be using your right foot. It's quite a natural movement for you as a car driver, isn't it? So that's your rear brake, that's your front brake. So all your braking is done on this side of the machine, okay. All right. On this side of the machine you're going to find your gear lever, okay. So gears, number 1 is down, okay, neutral comes up, and then the rest 2, 3, 4, 5 are up as well. The way I used to remember it, okay, is apart from first, which is all down there by itself, okay, the rest of the gears you speed up and you slow down. Oh, yeah. All right. And obviously, as we said before, your clutch is up here, so all of your gear changing is done on this side of the bike. All right. A few things that you might find on other bikes which you haven't got on this one is things like a fuel tap, okay. This particular machine is fuel injected, so there's no choke, there's no fuel tap, it's all automatically done for you, all right. Obviously your feet go on the pedals, your seat, your bum goes on the seat, and that's about it really. Obviously fuel goes in this one here. Any particular questions about this machine at all? No? It's a very friendly machine, perfect for this, all right. So running through a few basic checks that you might want to make on your own machine when you get one, okay. The Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency, they suggest that we do this every single day, okay. So before you go anywhere on your bike, just make some real basic checks to make sure that when you get to the end of your road it's going to stop, all right. So I use a mnemonic for this, bolts, okay. The bike's made out of bolts, okay. Any ideas? No? Okay, so B, brakes, okay. We want to do a real quick brake check. We're not going to go into too much detail. Bear in mind we're doing this every morning effectively before we go anywhere, okay, and we've all got places to be, I'm sure. So B, brakes. First thing I would do, lift the bike up. Let's just turn that key off, shall we? Wheel it forward and apply your brake, okay. So we're looking to make sure that it works, that there's no unusual movement, no sponginess, okay, no funny noises in the front brake. We would do the same with the rear brake, okay. I would get on the bike, apply the brake, see if it moves anywhere, okay. Equally as important that when you release it, it does now move. All right, fantastic. Next is O, oils, okay. Now this is a 4-stroke machine, okay, so just like a car you can have a dipstick or a sight window, okay, with a minimum and a maximum mark. Whatever bike you get, then obviously you would check your manual, find out how that oil is checked, okay. And check your oil regularly, okay, it's quite important. Obviously if you stay on top of your servicing, you shouldn't have too many worries with that, but it's nice to make sure there is some oil in the engine. All right. After your oil is your lights, okay, so walk around the bike, get everything flashing, get it all doing what it's supposed to do. You may have to start the engine depending on what bike you've got, but just walk around, be checking your indicators, okay. One that a lot of people forget is your number plate light, okay. So get down there, make sure that is lit up, okay. It's not unusual for that to get quite dirty down there, so it might not be, it will seemingly be working. Give it a little wipe. Oh, miraculously my number plate is lit up again at night. If you've got any reflectors around the machine as well, make sure they're clean and working. Your headlight obviously is susceptible to stone chips, water ingress, all that sort of stuff, so we're making sure that that's working correctly on both dip beam and main beam. All right, are you happy with all the lights on the machine? Yeah. Fantastic. So next we'll be looking at the tyres, okay. So we're pretty reliant on these two bits of rubber, okay. There's no spare on board like there is in a car. So yeah, we want to be checking our tyres regularly. We want to make sure there's at least 1 millimetre of tread on there at all times, okay. That's your absolute bare minimum, 1 millimetre. We're looking for nails, screws, you know, bulges, rips, tears, all that sort of stuff. We want to know that these tyres are just generally in good condition and safe for use on the road. All right. Your tyre pressures you can check as per the manufacturer's guidance in the manual or on the internet or something like that, okay. So check your pressures, check your tread depth, and just have a good look at your tyre, you know, give them a good squeeze, make sure they feel firm enough, and obviously every now and again I'll be checking them properly with a reliable pressure gauge. All right. There is such a thing as a tread wear indicator which you get on some tyres. Now on the sidewall you'll see the code TWI, that's it, yeah. And so it's just here. If you follow that across, you'll see a lump in the middle there, and when that lump is at the same height as the rest of the tread, it's time to get that tyre replaced. All right. So to be honest with you, I wouldn't even be let it get that low really. All right. But yeah, look after your tyres. You're very reliant upon them. All right. Cool. So after your tyres, it's your steering. Okay. Your steering should move freely from lock to lock without any funny noises, okay. You've obviously got cables and wires and things that are travelling along the headstock there, okay. Just make sure they're not being overly stretched and not being pinched as well, yeah, and they're not bare and rubbing against your metal frame. All right, fantastic. Any questions at all about some basic maintenance?
No. So these are these are facing sideways. Is that?
Yeah, it's just yeah. So you basically got a good you know, reflective side profile should you need it, you know, when you've got a car that's coming up to a T-junction, for example, and you're shooting past. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, well, if you've not got any questions, there are obviously checks that you would make, not quite as regularly, just basically the same sort of things, but you go into more detail. So with your brakes, you're going to be checking your fluid levels, you're going to be checking your pads, your discs, okay. Just go into a lot more detail. With your oil, obviously you're going to look around the engine casings, making sure nothing's seeping out anywhere, things like that, okay. Maybe get your manual out and find out when the last time was you actually serviced the bike. With your lights, there's not really much more you can do other than check they all work, okay. Just generally check that they're in good condition, not hanging off, all that sort of stuff. Again, with your tyres, we're going to make pretty thorough checks on our tyres all the time, so that's not much more we can do with that, and the same with the steering, okay. But just, yeah, every now and again, really go over your bike. Like I said, mnemonic bolts, so again, you know, check all these bolts, get everything good shake, you know, make sure it is all nice and sturdy. All right, fantastic.
One question.
Yeah.
Just with the indicator.
Yep.
So I flick it on, it's going to stay on?
Yeah.
And then it will flick to that neutral in the middle?
Yeah, so we just turn the ignition on here. We flick it across to the right. Obviously the right indicator starts to flash. You can actually see the indicator on this, which is quite nice, as well as having your light on the dashboard. And to cancel that, we're going to press that button. Fantastic. Okay, so starting and stopping this machine, okay, I would always suggest that you are sat on the motorcycle at all times when you start it, so that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm going to sit in what we call the safety position, okay, so my left leg is on the ground, my right leg is up, applying the rear brake, okay, so my hands are on the bars, I'm nice and stable, I'm not going anywhere. So, first thing I do is make sure that my kill switch is in the run position, okay. I know I've got fuel in the bike, because I filled it up. We would turn the ignition key on, again, I'm just going to let it do its little thing there, let the fuel injection system prime, fantastic, and then I'm going to pull the clutch in, okay. You don't have to pull the clutch in on some bikes, but it's a good habit to be in, okay, just in case your neutral light is lying, alright. And then all you're going to do is fuel injected, there's no choke or anything like that, you're just going to press this button, and away it goes, okay. You don't need to give it loads of revs or anything like that, okay, it's just going to start on the button, fantastic, alright. Now we can release the clutch if we're happy that it's in neutral, nice and slowly, just in case, alright, perfect. If I want to switch the bike off, I just turn the key, okay? Please don't use the kill switch unless it's for emergencies, alright. Any questions about that at all? No, superb. Okay, Dan, so just a few practical things to get going before we actually get riding the machine, one of which is we best show you how to take it on and off the stand. Okay, so all times when we're using the stand we need to be showing control. Okay, so a nice easy way to do that is to use the front brake. Okay, so I'm going to take control of the bike, put my front brake on. Okay, I then lift it up and I'm just going to kick that stand out the way, just like that. Okay, nothing more exciting than that. All right, if I wanted to put it down, I just find the stand and I kick it forward. It's good to give it a little tap there, just make sure it is all the way forward, and then lean your bike over, turn your steering in. Obviously you'll be releasing your brake. Okay, so she's nice and safe on her stand. All right, if you prefer, I'm more than happy for you to get on the machine first, again with the brake on, and kick the stand out the way. All right, similarly, if we've just pulled up somewhere, if you want to lean over, kick the stand down and lean it in. Okay, and obviously then release your brake. Lovely. Yeah. All right, if you want to give that a quick go, if you're happy with that.
Yeah. Do you want the helmet on?
No, it's okay, you don't need your helmet for this part, we're not actually going to ride. So if you just take control of the machine, fantastic, lift the bike up and just kick that stand out the way. Super. Okay, and back down again. Now ideally we would use our right foot, okay, just so you don't want your balance to get all to get lost there. So yeah, use your right foot. But yeah, if you're happy with that, yeah. Okay. One thing to mention about the stand is obviously soft ground. If you park it somewhere soft, it's going to sink, okay, which would be less than ideal if your pride and joy lying on its side there. So either find somewhere hard to park it, or get one of those little plastic discs that you get free in most magazines, okay, or a couple of quid in a shop, or even a bit of wood, okay, if you're really desperate, like I found myself in the middle of a field last year at a show. Gloves. I sacrificed my gloves for the greater good of my bike. Also, if you're on a hill, okay, face it uphill. The last thing you want to do is watch your pride and joy riding down the hill, okay, by itself. So face it uphill. Even if it's on a side stand, when it's uphill, it tends to stay on the stand, okay? So if you imagine that we're sort of stood on the pavement and that's the road, if I was to park my bike at this sort of nice 45-degree angle-ish, just like that, okay, there's several reasons for it. If the curb's running along here and we're on a hill, okay, it's going to wedge itself against the curb, okay, it's not going to be disappearing down the road, okay. Also, when I step off the pavement, okay, to get back on my bike, I've got a good view up and down the road, and I can pull out around anything else that might be parked around me, okay. Also, I mean, you know, if you get 2 or 3 bikes in one bay here, so, you know, we're just being polite, okay. And then there is arguably the most important reason why we do this. Any ideas?
Someone else can see it, maybe?
Yeah, it's because it looks cool. Okay, half the battle of being on a bike is trying to look cool. Okay, are you happy with the stands there, Dan? Fantastic. So what we need to do now is get you wheeling the bike around to make sure you're happy with the weight of this machine. Okay, so very similarly, we're going to take control of the bike with the brake, lift it up, remove the stand, okay, and I strongly suggest you take a little step away so the bike is leaning towards you, you're leaning towards the bike. So you've created like an A-frame here, okay. Several reasons. It's nice and sturdy. The other reason is if you're stood close here, when you smack your shin off that peg a few times, it gets really boring, okay. So take a step away, okay, I'm nice and in control. When I want to walk, I would release the brake, okay, turning left for left, turning right for right. Happy with that? I'll just give you a quick demonstration. I'm just going to turn the machine around. So just a quick demonstration of wheeling this machine around. So I've took control of the bike, have a look around, okay, make sure everything's safe, release the brake, and away I go. So if I want to go left, I turn it left, but notice how I'm keeping my head up, I'm looking around, okay, I'm not looking down at the bike. When you want to turn right, believe it or not, you just turn it right. Now don't be alarmed, obviously you might find the bike is leaning a bit more, okay, and you may have to move around to get yourself into a comfortable position. But again, around we go, looking where I want to go, not down at the bike. Now when you want to bring it to a stop, we're looking to get the bike fairly upright in a straight line, okay, and applying the brake, okay. The last thing you need to do is grab a fistful of brake while the steering is turned, especially in these conditions, because obviously it might go over. All right, so if you could humour me, if you want to take that round to the right there, just show me a basic figure of 8 and make sure you're happy with the weight of this machine. Yeah.
Back to there, a bit.
Yeah. Good. So we're looking around, fantastic. And then just around to the left again for me, Dan. And if we can get the bike fairly upright in a straight line, just bring it to a stop and place it on its stand. Well, that wasn't too challenging for you, was it?
No.
Fantastic. So, if you have no questions about the bike, okay, and you're happy with the weight of the machine, and the stands, of course,
Yeah.
then, or the stand in this case. There is no main stand on this particular machine. What I would do is, if you want to know about the main stand, we'll find another machine inside and show you how all that works. But for now, I think it's time we've got our helmet on. Let's get you riding, shall we? We'll start element C. Cool.